Acceptable use policy. Is it just another form to sign? As I talked to my coworkers and my family members who are also teachers, it was hard for anyone to give me an actual definition for an acceptable use policy. It's a document that outlines a set of rules to be followed by the user. It is similar to a term of service agreement, but pertains to a large networking system and equipment. The main focus is to protect anyone using the networking system and making sure it is used in an appropriate way. Why should schools have one? As we're beginning to introduce Canvas to our students, it enables teachers the ability to provide students with the access to digital media to support their learning in the 21st century. And by doing this, it protects students, teachers, and anyone that uses the school network. Features of an acceptable use policy. There should be a statement defining what the school system thinks is appropriate and inappropriate material. An understanding of how students will be monitored and what consequences will be given if rules are broken. A description of teacher responsibilities and restrictions. An outline of parent-guardian responsibility. On the first day of school, students were given a form to sign. The one to the right is similar to the one that the secondary students had to sign. The forms are slightly different between secondary and elementary school, with the secondary form being 3 pages long and the elementary school one being only 1 page long. The student acceptable use policy includes individuals assume responsibility of their own non-HCPSS owned technology. With the bring your own device policy, this protects the school system against the students bringing their own devices to school. Students will act in a responsible, civil, and ethical manner. The personal use of social media may not interfere or cause a disruption to student work. Failure to comply with this policy may result in temporary or permanent termination of technology access. If the signed policy is not followed, consequences will be given based on the HCPSS Student Code of Conduct. Here's an example of that below. Students are able to find the acceptable use policy on the main hcpss.org page under the HCPSS forms page. Students can also find it when they log on to Canvas, and they're reminded of the digital citizenship pledge they've already signed. And there's a link to review the policy in full detail right there on the page, and they can view the 15-page document that it actually is. For teachers, when we log on to our web browser on our school-issued computers, this is the first screen that comes up, and again, we can click on the acceptable use of computer technology policy page right there. In our acceptable use policy, teachers will help monitor the safe use of HCPSS sanctioned student activities. We will not mandate that students provide their own technology at school. Teachers will sign a device agreement upon receiving their HCPSS owned equipment and will agree to take care of the device. Teachers will keep data and other student personal information safe. Social media is another big thing coming in, especially in the high schools, but also in middle schools. Teachers need to be careful that we use our HCPSS email when creating professional social media accounts. If there's a third-party social media that we want to use, that we fill out a planning form. That we must identify ourselves as HCPSS employees on our social media, and do not link personal social media accounts to HCPSS email. In 7th grade, students are given a semester class on digital citizenship. This is where it's really first introduced to them. The county has set up a 9-week program that those 7th grade teachers are able to follow. In accordance to the HCPSS acceptable use policy and complying with Protecting Children in the 21st Century Act, ongoing instruction will happen to promote digital citizenship. So the communication of the policy, teachers should remind students when doing projects that involve the use of technology or the internet that they've signed that agreement and that they need to be responsible. And we could even include a digital citizenship link on our Canvas homepage. Students and parents, students should take the form home to be signed and looked over, and the parents should view that also with their child. Both should follow up with the policy given to them on the Canvas sign-in page or even on the hcpss.org page. Other tips for teachers, there's some other resources that we're able to use if you look at the Bring Your Own Device policy, their online learning modules, and the forms page given on the HCPSS website. So in conclusion, it's not just another acronym to learn. It's not just another form to sign. It is our job and responsibility to prepare our students for the 21st century and to become digital citizens.